You're texting her goodnight while she's scrolling through attention from men who'd replace you in seconds. You're doing everything to prove your worth, but deep down you feel like a backup plan. You're not seen, not heard, not respected, and the worst part, you've convinced yourself this is what love looks like. Every day you silence your instincts, you let things slide, you ignore how she dismisses you in front of others. You lie to yourself that it'll change, that maybe being a little nicer, a little more patient, will earn her love back. But here's the truth no one will tell you. She doesn't want a servant. She wants a standard. And nothing rips the illusion faster than when a man says the words she never thought she'd hear. The words that break her control, unravel her power trip, and force her to see you not as an emotional support system, but as a man she cannot manipulate. If you're tired of being sidelined in your own life, if you've been holding on by a thread, this is the moment everything changes. Stick with me until the very last second of this video. Comment, "I take back my power," and watch what happens when you stop chasing validation and start living by the truth she fears the most. Number 1. I'm not responsible for your feelings. You spend years trying to be the solution to someone else's problems. You adjust your tone, your pace, your desires, your dreams, just to keep the peace in a house where peace never existed. You tell yourself you're being considerate, that you're loving her right, that this is what sacrifice looks like. But deep inside, you feel smaller every day. Because every time you silence yourself for the sake of her feelings, you train her to believe that your voice, your truth, your perspective doesn't matter. She tests your patience, and instead of responding with clarity, you submit with silence. She disrespects your time, and instead of asserting value, you explain yourself endlessly, hoping for mercy she has no intention of giving. You tell yourself you're being the bigger person, but in reality, you've become the one who shrinks, who bends, who caves, just to keep her emotions in check. And the tragic irony? The more you do, the less she respects you. Because no woman admires the man who lets her emotions govern his boundaries. When you give up your principles to soothe her insecurities, you become less of a man in her eyes and more of a caretaker for her chaos. She doesn't remember the moment she stopped desiring you, but she remembers when you started apologizing for your strength. It starts with small compromises, letting her change your plans last minute, staying silent when she cuts you off, ignoring how she treats you in public. It becomes a pattern where you start doubting yourself even when you've done nothing wrong. Her moods become your responsibility, her reactions your scoreboard, her silence your punishment. You spend your nights wondering how to do better, how to fix it, how to regain her warmth. And the answer is never in being softer. It's in being still, in not reacting, in standing firm when the waves hit. That's where power begins, not in being emotionless, but in being unmoved by the chaos that isn't yours to own. This doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means being clear, calm, certain. It means knowing that no matter how loud she gets, you don't have to raise your voice to be heard. You lead by standing rooted in values you don't negotiate. You express love not by absorbing her storms, but by refusing to be swept away by them. She says you've changed. She's right. You no longer believe that love means losing yourself to save someone who doesn't want to be saved. You love by example now. You set the tone. You choose your direction and invite peace, not to fix her, but to maintain you. The next time she's upset, let her be. Don't chase, don't explain. Don't break your own rules to prove something to someone who benefits from your instability. Sit with your truth. Let it speak louder than her tantrums. If she walks away, let her. If she returns, let her meet a man who no longer negotiates with emotional terrorists. You don't return chaos with chaos. You don't answer manipulation with maybes. You don't owe apologies for standards that protect your peace. And once you reclaim that space, once you see how grounded you become when you stop holding what was never yours to carry, you'll realize something deeper. She was never looking for someone to fix her. She was looking for someone strong enough not to be broken by her. Be that man, not for her, but for the version of you who's been waiting for you to show up finally, without flinching. And once you reclaim that space, once you see how grounded you become when you stop holding what was never yours to carry, you'll realize something deeper. She was never looking for someone to fix her. She was looking for someone strong enough not to be broken by her. Be that man, not for her, but for the version of you who's been waiting for you to show up, finally, without flinching. And if you're ready to truly step into that version of yourself, the one who commands respect, not demands it, then it's time to go deeper. That's why the Stoic Relationship Blueprint was created. This isn't just a book, it's a weapon, a map. It's filled with timeless Stoic principles forged to help men like you reclaim control, rediscover peace, and protect their power in relationships and life. And now it's available in audiobook format, so you can absorb these life-altering truths while walking, training, or just clearing your mind. If you've ever asked, why does she lose respect when I give more? This blueprint doesn't just answer the questions, it rewires the man who asks them. Once you get it, it's yours forever. Revisit it anytime, anywhere. Because the battle doesn't end, it evolves. And the men who win are the ones who stay equipped. The link is in the comments. Take it, own it. Become the man she can't manipulate, and never look back. Number 2, you're not special. Every woman has been told she's different, that she's not like the others. And the moment you echo that lie, you lose all leverage. When you tell her, you're not special, not in anger, but in honesty, you break the spell. You break through the illusion that's been carefully built through a lifetime of digital worship, social media reinforcement, and the silence of men too scared to speak their truth. You end the unspoken contract that says a man's worth is proven by how endlessly he validates a woman who offers nothing in return but presence and attitude. She walks through the world believing her existence is a gift. Not because of her actions, not because of her heart, but because she's been told beauty is currency and her gender is royalty. And when you sit across from her, see it clearly, and choose not to kneel, you do something she's rarely encountered. Resistance. Not anger, not bitterness, just full, unapologetic clarity. You've met her 1,000 times before. Different body, different voice, same entitlement, and now you choose not to reward it. That shakes her. Because she expects pedestal treatment. She expects men to fumble their dignity in pursuit of her affection. She expects emotional slavery dressed as romantic persistence. But you're not that man anymore. You don't entertain people who treat your time like background noise. You don't reward disrespect with deeper devotion. You don't play along with the illusion that she's rare simply because others are blind. She's not. And saying that is not cruelty. It's freedom. For you. You're done pretending that flakiness is mystery, that double standards are sass, that disrespect is independence. You now understand that a woman is only as special as how she treats you. Not how she looks, not how many likes she gets, but how she shows up when no one's watching. That's what you value now. And the ones who don't live that way? They're not special, they're common, they're easily replaceable. And when you operate with that awareness, everything changes. You stop negotiating with attitudes. You stop giving access to your presence like it's a prize she's entitled to. You start assessing, not pursuing, watching, not begging. You begin to choose, to filter, to demand more than surface-level attraction. You start speaking your truth without hesitation. And when she says, "You're intimidating," you smile. Not because it's a compliment, but because it's confirmation. You're no longer easy to manipulate. You're no longer one of the many. You've stopped placing people above you and started walking beside only those who earn it. This shift makes women uncomfortable, especially those who've coasted through life on praise and pedestal worship. They recoil when you don't flinch. They push harder when you don't validate. They test your resolve when you don't chase. Let them. Your job is not to reassure someone who's trying to unsettle you. Your job is to remain rooted in reality. You are no longer the man who's impressed by potential. You look for patterns. You pay attention to the way she listens, how she disagrees, what she respects. You don't care if she's gorgeous. If she's cruel, she's disqualified. If she's erratic, she's dismissed. If she's entitled, she's invisible. And the beautiful part? You don't have to argue about it. You just live by it. In silence, in stillness, in full awareness of your worth. That's the message she remembers. Not what you said, but what you refused to tolerate. Not the compliments you gave, but the access you denied. She might not say it aloud, but deep down she knows. She met a man who sees through the mask, who wasn't fooled, who didn't perform. And whether she steps up or disappears, you win. Because you finally stopped being impressed by something that has no impact on your peace. You stopped needing her to be different. You accepted her as she is, and you acted accordingly. That is mastery. That is clarity. That is freedom. And once you reach it, you never go back. Number 3, my time has boundaries. Your time is your currency, and every time you drop everything to please her, you spend it recklessly. Think about how many times you've cancelled plans, missed workouts, skipped sleep just to be available. And what did it earn you? Less respect, more demands. She didn't thank you for your effort, she expected it. She didn't see sacrifice, she saw compliance. And the more available you made yourself, the less valuable you became. Because in her mind, anything that is always there, always flexible, always reachable, is a tool, not a treasure. You taught her that your time is negotiable, that your priorities are bendable, that your path can be paused on command. And once she sees that, she stops seeing you as a leader. She starts testing how much of yourself you're willing to discard. The late-night calls, the last-minute plans, the emotional emergencies that always take priority over your schedule. Each time you say yes to her chaos, you say no to your structure. And over time, you lose more than hours. You lose identity. You become a man with no rhythm, no boundaries, no spine. Just a life revolving around someone else's inconsistency. And it doesn't end with her gratitude. It ends with her contempt. Because deep down, even she knows a man who abandons his mission isn't worth following. But you don't see it yet. You still believe being there for her means bending over backward. You still think love is shown through self-erasure. And when she starts pulling away, acting cold, treating your presence like background noise, you try harder. You offer more, and every offer makes her colder. Because you're not giving from strength, you're negotiating with weakness. The shift happens when you decide your time is not a favor. It's a structure, a frame, a law. You begin to build your days around purpose, not people. You start placing your calendar above her comfort. You draw lines, not to control her, but to control yourself. You say things like, "I'm not free tonight," not as a game, but as a reflection of reality. And when she pushes back, when she calls you selfish, you remain grounded. Because you finally understand that a man's value is in his rhythm, in his consistency, in his refusal to let anyone pull him off track. You're not cold, you're clear. You're not distant, you're deliberate. You don't ghost, you schedule. You don't chase, you lead. And the ones who can't respect that rhythm will remove themselves, because your time won't allow space for drama to take root. And those who stay, they elevate. because they see a man who doesn't move out of desperation, but moves with direction. You want to change your life? Change how you use your minutes. Start with a calendar. Block time for growth, for health, for solitude, for strategy. Make appointments with your vision. Keep them. Say no to everything that doesn't build the man you're trying to become. Let your time offend people. Let it shake the ones who expected full access without full value, and let it serve the only mission that matters, becoming undeniable on your own terms. You're no longer just busy, you're booked with purpose. Number 4, I don't respond to threats. She says, maybe I should just leave. You say, you're free to go. That sentence doesn't come from anger, it comes from mastery. It comes from the man who no longer lives in emotional debt, who no longer dances for affection, who no longer tries to negotiate with someone weaponizing their presence like a threat. When she says she'll leave, she's not really asking for space. She's asking you to fold. She's pulling the trigger on a game she's played before, a test you used to fail every time. And failing looked like begging. It looked like panic. It looked like apologizing for boundaries you never should have compromised. But now you know what that test really is. It's not about her leaving, it's about whether you'll abandon yourself to make her stay. And when you don't, when you respond with calm certainty, when you let her feel the weight of her own threat, something inside her shifts. Because she realizes, maybe for the first time, that her absence no longer scares you, that she can walk and you won't chase, that she can throw the threat out like bait and you won't bite. And that changes everything. Because the moment she sees that her emotional grenades no longer move you, she realizes she has 2 choices: level up or leave. And either one is peace. This is what most men don't understand. Every threat she makes is a mirror, reflecting how much control she believes she has over you. And when you react, when you chase, when you try to prove your worth after she devalues you, you confirm her illusion. But when you stand tall, when you hold frame, when you say, if you need to go, go, not to win, but because you mean it, you end the game. Permanently, because you stop feeding it. No more rewarding chaos, no more emotionally bribing someone to stay, no more arguing with a person who uses threats as conversation starters. This is where you reclaim your spine. This is where you choose solitude over submission. Because the truth is, no man loses a woman who walks away from clarity. He loses a liability. And once you see that, once you live that, you stop fearing loss. You welcome it. Because you understand that no threat can shake a man who's already rooted in purpose. Your peace isn't up for negotiation. Your vision doesn't get paused for drama. And your value isn't confirmed by someone who weaponizes leaving. You teach people how to treat you by how you respond to their worst moments. So let her walk, let her test, let her threaten, while you remain still, certain, complete. Because the man who doesn't respond to threats is the man who's already chosen himself. And that man doesn't break, he builds. Number 5. I'm focused on my purpose. Your purpose is not to be liked, it's to build a life that cannot be ignored. But most men lose it chasing approval. They shift their goals for a relationship, soften their edge for comfort, pause their dreams for love. And the moment they do, the respect dies. Because deep down, no one admires the man who abandons himself to keep someone else interested. The moment you start scheduling your life around her emotions instead of your mission, she stops seeing you as the man she once admired. She may not say it, but she feels it. The slow erosion of your edge, the quiet death of your ambition, the silent burial of your hunger. And that's when she pulls away. Not because you stopped loving her, but because you stopped leading yourself. And what you need to understand is this. When a man walks away from his path, he doesn't just lose traction, he loses identity. He wakes up one day in a house he never wanted, beside someone he can't recognize, looking at a version of himself he quietly resents, not because of her, but because he gave up on him. And every time she asked you to slow down, every time she guilted you for staying late at the gym, for grinding on your goals, for prioritizing your craft, you gave in. You told yourself love requires compromise. But real love never asks you to kill the fire that forged you. Real love aligns with your path, it doesn't replace it. And now, you're rebuilding. You're starting over. You're done apologizing for ambition. You're done feeling guilty for wanting more than mediocrity. You're done believing that your purpose should be flexible to accommodate someone else's insecurity. You now protect your vision with your schedule, your energy, your silence. You say no more often, not because you're cold, but because you're clear. You invest in habits that grow you. You protect the mornings that keep you sharp. You remove distractions that dilute your power, and you watch how the world shifts. The same people who once accused you of being too driven will now ask how you did it. The same woman who once said you cared too much about your goals will now try to re-enter the kingdom she once disrespected. But she doesn't get to come back, not unless she respects the throne. And what you'll notice is this. As you climb, the noise fades, the fake connections dissolve, the unnecessary arguments disappear, and the clarity becomes addictive. You're not here to be liked. You're here to build something immortal, something with weight, something with legacy. You're not chasing her anymore. You're chasing the man you're supposed to become. That man wakes up early. He moves with strategy. He surrounds himself with fire. He doesn't negotiate with mediocrity. He walks away from the temporary to protect the timeless. That man doesn't need reminders. He remembers who he is every morning when he laces up his boots and enters a world that bends for no one. And if she can't keep up, she watches from the stands. Because this mission has no passenger seat. Either you build beside him or you get left behind. Purpose doesn't pause. It punishes the distracted. But you're focused now. You've learned that respect starts with how relentlessly you pursue what sets your soul on fire. And from this moment forward, every decision, every boundary, every move is filtered through one question. Does this build the man I promised myself I'd become? If not, it doesn't belong. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. If you're tired of being silenced, sidelined, and slowly erased in relationships that only take from you, then stop waiting for permission to become the man you were born to be. This is your turning point. The Stoic Relationship Blueprint is not just a book. It's the manual you were never given, filled with timeless Stoic principles that will shatter illusions and rebuild your mindset from the ground up. And now, it's finally available in audiobook format, so you can take these life-changing truths with you, on a walk, in the gym, or while building the life she never believed you'd have without her. The link is in the comments. It's yours forever. Use it, replay it, and let it rewire you. If you're ready to lead, not chase, comment, "No more illusions." Like the video. Subscribe now to help more men find these truths and save themselves years of regret.